Okay, so it looks like we're live. Hi guys, hi everyone, I'm McKenzie. It's a little funny because I can't see anyone right now, but welcome to Yoga Hackathon, the Hackathon Yoga event. You might see my dog Cooper roaming around here, so just don't be alarmed. Hopefully you can all hear me and see me. I'm going to be walking you through a yoga class today. So hopefully you guys are having a great event, although it's a little different than we had in the past, right? But we are resilient and we're just going with it. I'm sure you've heard the word resiliency a few times over the last year or so, especially as students. But we really wanted to come together and just give you an opportunity to just, take a breath, like take a beat, just relax. Again, this is Cooper. But just, give yourself time and the space to just let your mind relax, let your thoughts go, and hopefully, that will bring some more creativity to what you're working on this weekend. So one thing I want to mention, I don't know if anybody is new to the practice of yoga, but yoga, it's not just about exercise. It is really about the exercise is movement, right? You're moving your body, but with yoga, it's also about the breath. So the breath is really important, and I'm going to be walking you through and talking you through and constantly reminding you to breathe as we go, because with the breath and the movement, that creates to help us decompress and the central nervous system calm down. So that's what we're going to work on today. So let's calm that down and get into yoga. So this practice is for beginners. If you want to, as all yoga practices are, you can take that to the next level if you want to enhance a pose, or I will give you those cues also to enhance your practice also. But this will be a little bit more for beginners. So welcome, and thank you guys all for joining. So let's come into child's pose. Child's pose is bringing your legs. Sorry, you know what? I'm just going to let Cooper outside real quick so he doesn't bother us. Just a minute. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so child's pose. Your feet are going to be together at the back of your mat, hips open, knees spread apart. And you're just going to sit back on your heels as you are, and then just fold forward, letting your head just fall down to the mat, letting your forehead fall down to the mat, and just staying here. Child's pose is where we start, and it's also a great place to come back to. So this is at any point in your practice, if you do need a break, a rest, come back to child's pose. Again, hips are back and down onto your heels. Big toes are touching, knees are spread apart. You can extend your arms out long to the top of the mat, or you can just let your elbows bend and keep them on the mat. You can even just if that bothers your shoulders, bring your hands down by your side. Once again, yoga is, like you said, it helps to calm the central nervous system, connecting breath and movement in your body. When you need to, and you do want to come back here, this is a great place to come back, because yoga also helps us to be aware of what we need to give ourselves in that moment. So if you're not feeling a pose or something's bothering you, come back to child's pose. And start to deepen your breath here. On your next inhale, come up onto all fours. So hands and knees, this is a tabletop position. And we're gonna just take some cat-cows. So cow is you're dropping your belly, you're looking up towards the ceiling, arching your spine. And cat, thinking about if you have a tail on the back of your, think about having a tail. dropping that tail, tucking that pelvis under, almost arching your back and looking down towards the back of your mat. So inhale, cow. Again, tucking that pelvis under, dropping the belly, looking up. And cat, tucking the tailbone under, rounding that spine. So go ahead and take a couple more on your own. So inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat. Inhale, cow and exhale. One more. And then everyone meet me in downward facing dog. So in down dog, you want to tuck your toes, just extend your arms out a little bit, tucking those knees, and then coming into a upside down V almost. And let's just walk out. We call this walking out your dog. So bending one knee and then the other, one knee at a time, walking out your dog. Really getting into those calves, the back of your calves. Stretching through the shoulders, pressing into the palms of your hands. And then slowly, let's tiptoe our way all the way up to the top of the mat. So slowly tiptoe your way up, and then just fold over your legs. Hanging over your legs and swaying back and forth. This is ragdoll. So grabbing opposite elbows and swaying back and forth. Again, keeping those knees back, just softening into the body. This is really just to soften in. Maybe shake out your head, yes and no. All right, and then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, let yourself come all the way up, letting your head be the last to come up. Reaching your arms up over your head and bringing them down to heart center. All right, we're going to start into our sun salutation. So again, let's reach our arms up over our head. Reach, 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 and then bring your hands to heart center and falling over your front feet. Inhale, halfway lift. So halfway lift, you're going to bring your hands to your shins, letting your spine extend, almost as if you were like peering over the edge of a mountain cliff or just peering over something. And then folding over, planting your hands and stepping back into downward facing dog. And we're going to just stay in down dog, take a couple breaths here. Again, this is an upside down V. We're really pressing into our hands, pressing into those feet. All right, come high into your toes, bend your knees, step walk, or tiptoe to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up to the top. As if we were waking up, and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Now, if you aren't new to yoga and you do have a chaturanga or a flow that you want to go through, you can take that now. Otherwise, we're just all going to stay in down dog. Couple more breaths here. All right, come high into your toes, bend your knees, step walk, or tiptoe to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, hands to the shins, extending out. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach up, rise up to the sky, stretch up, and then bring your hands to heart center, letting your hands fall down to the mat. Stepping back into the downward facing dog. All right, this time we're going to bring our feet together at the back of the mat. Come high into your tiptoes, bend your knees, and step walk or tiptoe to the top of your mat. Bringing your feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're gonna come into chair pose. So chair pose, arms are up by your ears, shoulders are back and down though, arms are by your ears, almost if you were just sitting back into a chair. So your weight is actually in your heels and you are tucking your tailbone. So you don't wanna keep your pelvis tucked, tuck that tailbone under, coming into a chair pose. And do a couple breaths here. Again, weight in your heels, tucking that tailbone, shoulders back and down. Now, if this bothers your shoulders, you can always bring your hands to heart center. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg high to the sky and step it forward. We're going to come into a warrior one. So warrior one, your foot is placed in between your hands. You're going to let your back heel fall down to the mat. So your back heel, if you look back down at your heel, it's going to be at a 45-degree angle. Your hips are going to be square, so you might have to shimmy out your right foot a little bit. Hips are square to the front, arms are up by your ears. Not your shoulders, but just your arms by your ears. And just breathe here. Right knee should be on top of that right ankle. It shouldn't be too far over, too far back. Alignment. Yoga is a lot about alignment. One more inhale here. Exhale, we're going to exhale into warrior two. So extending those arms out, you might want to shimmy your right foot over, looking down to see if your right heel is in line with your back heel. And you're going to spread your arms across your chest, really a long line of energy from the right fingertip to the left fingertip. Again, that knee should be directly over that ankle. And just breathe. One more breath. And then we're going to tip over into a side angle. So bringing that right elbow to your right knee, and then letting your left arm come up to the ceiling and turn your gaze so you're looking at your left fingertips. Making sure your shoulders are open. You don't want to be arched forward. Open up those shoulders, open up that line of energy. And gaze. Gaze is really important in yoga as we move through the practice of not looking outside of ourselves, not looking to other people, but keeping our eyes focused on where we are in this moment, on our mat, and what you need. All right, one more inhale, and exhale. Plant your hands, so you're bringing that front foot, coming into a low lunge. And then exhale, step back into a downward facing dog. Once again, if you do have it in your practice and want to move through a flow, from high plank to low plank, you can do that. Otherwise, meet us in downward facing dog. And bring that left leg up to the sky. And then step it forward. Planting it in between your fingertips, between your right and your left fingertips. And then again, twisting that back heel down. We're going to come into that warrior one on the left side. So this time, look down at your right foot, and your back heel down. Your right toes are at a 45-degree angle. Again, you might want to open up those hips a little bit because your hips should be facing forward. And then arms up by your ears. Not your shoulders. Shoulders back and down. And again, looking at that front knee, making sure that front knee is over top of that ankle. Not too far forward or too far back. And just breathe here. Warrior one. Open up into warrior two. So again, you might want to shimmy that front foot over. Again, that front heel should be in line with the back arch. And then opening up that chest, really feeling that energetic force between your fingertips. One more breath, inhale. And exhale, tip over into side angle. Once again, your left elbow should come to the left knee, and your right arm should go all the way up to the ceiling with your gaze up to the ceiling. Opening up that chest, opening up those shoulders back and down. Couple more breaths. And then exhale, bringing that hand to frame that front foot into a low runner's lunge. Looking up. Inhale here. And exhale back into downward facing dog. Maybe you want to just, again, walk out that dog if your hips are a little tight, which mine are. Again, just recognizing what you need in this moment and with your body. All right, this time we're going to do one breath, one movement with that same sequence. So bringing those feet together at the back of the mat. Come higher to your toes, bend your knees, step walk, or you could even float if you wanted to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, chair pose. Inhale here. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. Pause here for a breath. Inhale your right leg to the sky. Step it forward. Planting it in between your hands, coming into a warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, side angle. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg to the sky. Step it forward. Twisting that back heel down, coming into a warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, side angle. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. All right, we're going to try that one more time. So bring your feet together at the back of your mat, high into your toes, bend your knees, step walk or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg high. Step it forward into warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, side angle. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg high. Plant it forward into a warrior one. Open up warrior two. Inhale, side angle. And exhale, plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. Nice job. All right, this time we're going to actually, why don't you just come down and we're going to just rest in child's pose. So take a moment, just resting in child's pose. Again, big toes to touch, knees apart, sitting back on your heels and just letting your head fold forward. Taking some deep breaths here. Maybe you want to grab a sip of water. And I don't know if you guys can hear, but yes, Cooper is outside and he is wanting to come in, but I'm not going to let him in, so he'll be fine. All right. So come on up. Again, coming onto all fours and then tucking those toes and leaning back into downward facing dog. This time we're going to come high into your toes, bend your knees and step walk or float to the top of your mat. We're going to come into, actually, shimmy those feet together. We're going to come back into chair pose. So coming into chair pose again, tucking that tailbone under. Weight is in your heels, almost like if you can lift your toes off the ground. Weight in your heels, toes off the ground. Arms up. And actually, we're going to bring our hands to heart center this time. We're going to twist over to the right. So almost like you're just twisting your body, hooking that left elbow outside of your right knee. Now, if this is too much for you, you can just set your elbow on top of your right knee. And you're just twisting open. You want to twist open those shoulders, keeping those hips square, but twisting open your shoulders. This is a twisted chair pose. One more breath here. And exhale, fold forward. And now we're going to move those feet out to hip distance apart. So heel to those feet out to hip distance apart. Take your two peace fingers, and wrap it in between or just around your big toe. This is called yogi toe lock. And we're just going to fold over, bending those knees, just letting your head fall heavy, letting it bend. And just breathe. Take a moment. Actually, you want to shake out that head, letting those thoughts fall to the ground. You don't need them right now. We'll come back to them. We'll come back to them eventually. All right, inhaling, letting go of those big toes and walking those feet back together. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, coming into chair pose again. Bringing your hands to heart center. And then we're going to twist over this time to the left side. So taking your right elbow outside of that left knee. Also, if that's too much, just on top of your left knee is fine. You're really just trying to get those shoulders facing to the other direction. You really want to twist into that body. Twisting really helps with our digestion and once again calming down the central nervous system. And really breathing into this pose. Sometimes the toughest poses, as long as you just keep breathing, just focusing on the breath, feeling it fill up your lungs and exhaling out. One more inhale and exhale, fold forward. Nice. Let's heel toe our feet out again to hip distance apart. This time, again, in our forward fold, you can bend your knees if you'd like. We're going to take gorilla pose. So we're going to take our palms of our hands, or the backs of our hands, put them on the mat, and then walk your toes almost up to your wrists. So feet are on top of your palms. And just fold forward into this. Now, if this is too much, you can also just take that yogi toe lock again, or just ragdoll forward and let your head hang heavy. All right, let your hands dangle down. And now this time we're going to walk heel toe our feet all the way out to the edges of our mat. Our heels are on our mat, our toes are actually off our mat, and we're going to just sit down back into a squat. This is called yogi toe, not yogi toe lock. This is called goddess squat. So putting our elbows inside of our knees and almost pushing back, pushing open that chest forward, bringing your hands to heart center, coming into a goddess squat. Once again, just breathing. And then exhale, bring your hips up to the sky, tiptoeing those feet back to hip distance apart, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into downward facing dog. Nice job. You can walk out that dog if it feels good for you. And then when you're ready, come high onto your toes, bend your knees, and walk to the front of your mat. We're going to come to our balancing series. So just let yourself fall all the way up, bringing your hands up to the sky and down to heart center. So, and then you can just release them down, maybe shake it out a little bit. So we're going to come into tree pose. So our balancing series, as I mentioned, gaze is really important. So this will be really important to our balancing series. Putting your weight into your left leg, and you're just going to kickstand your right knee up. In tree pose, you can either bring your right knee to your, again, kickstanding it to your inner left ankle, and just stay here for our tree pose. Bring your hands to heart center, finding a non-moving point that's in front of you. Now, you could stay here if you want to take this a little bit further. Bring your foot up to the inner calf, your inner left calf, staying here. You can keep that balance. And then maybe you grow your branches up. And then if you want to take it a little bit further, bring your foot up, your right foot up to the inner left thigh. Bring your hands to heart center once you have that. Growing those branches up. Keeping your gaze focused on a non-moving point in front of you. Shoulders back and down. And just breathe here. And if you fall out, it's okay. Just come back in. All right, bringing your hands back to heart center, letting that foot fall down to the earth, shake it out a little bit. And we're going to move to the left side. So weight is in your right foot, bringing that left foot, again, either to kickstand it, so you can either kickstand that left foot to the right ankle. You can bring that to your inner calf, your right calf, or up to the inner thigh. Now, just make sure you're not putting it on top of your right knee or anywhere on your knee, because that could really cause some harm to your knee. So whether that is a kickstand, your inner calf, or your inner thigh. Bringing your hands to heart center. Again, finding your drishti, it's called a drishti, or your gaze, a non-moving point, and then bringing those arms up to grow those branches. And then just breathe. Again, if you fall out, it's okay. Just like in life, you could fall and step back up. One more inhale. And exhale, bring those hands to heart center and letting those legs fall down. We're going to do that one more time. So I like to do tree pose because especially trees that are resilient, right? So think about the palm trees or the oak trees that they sway back and forth in the wind, or hurricanes or storms, but their roots are grounded. They're in the earth, they're grounded, they're steady, they're firm, they're not going anywhere. So again, putting your weight into that left leg. And you don't want to lock too much, don't lock out your leg, but just keep it firm, keep it planted. And then again, maybe if you tried that kickstand, maybe you want to bring it to that calf, or maybe you want to try to bring it to your upper thigh. And bringing your hands to heart center. Once you have that focus, then throwing your branches up. And while you guys are in that, I'm going to let you keep your breath. All right, bringing those hands down, shake out those feet, and then we will put our weight in our right leg. Bringing your toes to the earth to kickstand. Again, maybe try it, just go one step further. So whether that's your calf, your inner thigh, bring your hands to heart center. Once you have that steady focus and steady gaze, raise your arms up. And really imagine pushing your the bottom of your foot into your standing leg. Keeping your shoulders back and down, engaging that core. Seeing how tall you can go. Now, if you feel good here, try taking your gaze up to the ceiling. If you're still good, you're just holding that, try closing your eyes. And I just lost my balance. So there's a couple steps forward. All right, come on out of that. You can shake it out. And then we're going to reach our arms up to the sky one more time and fold forward. Plant your hands, step back into a downward facing dog. All right, we're coming into triangle series. So this time, bring your right leg to the sky and step it forward. We're coming into a warrior two again. So again, twisting that back heel down at that 45-degree angle and opening up those arms into a warrior position. Or warrior, I should say warrior two position. All right, this time we're going to straighten that front leg, keeping your arms straight, pushing your hips to the back of the room, and then try to reach out over your front arm until you can't reach anymore, and then tip over like a little teapot. Tip me over. And then again, looking up to those left fingertips, the sky. Now, your right hand, you can bring it to your right shin. Just gently place it there. If you feel good there, maybe you take your hand off and just put it to your inner ankle. Almost as if your palm is facing the wall. So you're just touching your leg. You're not using it as an anchor. And again, open up those shoulders. You really feel that line of energy moving through your fingertip to fingertip. And just breathe. All right, great job. Now we are going to come into pyramid pose. So I want you to frame your front foot and then bend into your front leg and then bring that back leg up and out. So you want to almost as if your hips are on train tracks. You don't want to be on a tightrope, but think about train tracks. So you are just framing that front leg. Maybe you want to inhale, almost if you're like peering over that mountaintop once again, and then folding forward, bringing your forehead to your shin or to your knee. But both legs are straight, like I said, on train tracks, and both feet are facing forward. Inhaling and exhaling. Nice job. Okay, this time we're going to come down into a low lunge. So actually bring your left foot back to the back of the mat, coming into that low runner's lunge again, and then step back into downward facing dog. All right, nice job. We're going to try all of that on the left side. So lifting up your left leg to the sky and stepping it forward in between your fingertips or in between your hands. twisting that back heel down, coming into a warrior two on the left side. I will tell you, Cooper is a lot happier being inside than he is outside right now. So again, I apologize for the whining. All right, here's our warrior two. Now we're going to straighten that front leg, coming into a triangle pose. So pushing those hips, almost if you were like someone came over and pushed your hips, pushed in on your left hip to put your hips back, folding over, see how far forward you can reach, and then tip over into triangle pose, bringing your left leg to that left shin, and then your right arm up. Again, opening up those shoulders. You really want that alignment. Yoga is all about alignment with our bodies, with our bones, with our mind, aligning with ourselves. Yes, Cooper wants to do yoga too. All right, this time we're going to come back into pyramid pose. So bending into that right standing leg, framing that front foot, and then bringing that back leg up and out, coming onto those train tracks. So again, hips are facing forward, feet are facing forward, and then you're just folding over into that pyramid pose, over that front leg. Letting your head, maybe again, peer over that mountaintop and then letting your head or your forehead fall to the knee. And then low runner's lunge, we're going to again, bend into that left standing knee, bringing that right foot back, coming into that low runner's lunge. Inhaling and then exhaling, downward facing dog. Great job. All right, coming onto those knees. Come onto those knees. We're now going to be laying back on our backs. So cross at those ankles, letting your hips sit back onto the mat. If you need to shimmy forward a little bit. We're going to come to bridge pose. So bridge pose is laying all the way back down onto our backs, bending those knees, and then just feel down towards the bottom of your feet. Maybe you can, keeping your hips, your feet are apart, so keeping your feet shoulder hips apart, shoulder width apart, and you're going to just reach down with your fingertips and see if you can touch the backs of your feet. That's how you know the distance. All right, and now we're going to lift our hips off of the earth and then shimmying those shoulders. So put one shoulder under and then the other under. Clasping those hands underneath the back. And then really lifting those hips towards the sky. Again, I apologize for Cooper. But stay there for a little bit. All right, and then come back down all the way to the earth. Hug those knees in towards your chest. And just give yourself a little bit of hug. Maybe you rock back and forth with those knees. And we're going to come into another bridge pose. So again, feet, hips, shoulder width apart. Lift those hips high to the sky. Tuck one shoulder under and then the other under. Clasp those hands underneath your body. And again, just keep those hips high to the sky. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Let it all fall down to the earth. This time we're going to bring the soles of our feet together and open up into, it's called Supta Baddha Konasana. So it's almost like a Supta Baddha Konasana. It's almost like a butterfly, but you're laying back down to the earth. And just bring one hand to your heart center, one to your belly. Just a little bit of breathing. Again, this really helps with our calming that central nervous system, allowing our minds to just soften, our bodies to soften, allowing space and thoughts to flow more freely. So you can come back to the hackathon and be more creative. All right, bringing those knees back up to the chest, to the touching each other. And this time what we're gonna do one more of those bridge poses. So once again, bringing those hips shoulder width apart, feet apart, reach down, touch the backs of your feet, and then lifting those hips high to the sky, one shoulder up, and then the other shoulder, clasping those hands and really opening up that chest. This is also a heart opener. If you want to take this one step further, maybe you come onto your tippy toes. If that feels good for you. All right, let those shoulders undo themselves and we're just gonna let our legs fall forward and then let our whole body just fall and melt down to the earth. This time we're gonna bring our right leg in towards our chest. Just give it a little hug. And you grab your knee with your right foot and your ankle with your left hand. Your knee with your right hand and your ankle with your left hand. And just hug that into the chest a little bit. Letting that fall down to the earth and then to the other side. Bringing that left knee in, rubbing the knee and the ankle. And letting that fall out. All right, come back up to sitting position. We're going to come into our seated pigeon. So again, bringing that right knee in towards your chest. This time we're sitting upright. And then crossing that ankle on top of our left knee. You don't want it right on your knee, maybe a little bit on your thigh. And then we're going to bring our hands to the back, towards the back. Bending that left knee in towards your body. And maybe this is good. Maybe this is fine. This is perfect where you're at. This is a seated pigeon. Seated half pigeon, I should say, on the right-hand side. Now, if you want to take it a little bit further, lift your hips up and then bring them closer to that left foot that's on the mat, and maybe walk your hands a little closer. So basically, your butt and your foot are closer together, and then also, so if you want to keep going a little bit more. Again, really, the hips are where we hold a lot of our emotions. So this is, sometimes it can be really tight. So just, again, see what your body needs and give that to yourself. You need to back off, you can also do that. I'm just gonna hold this for a few more breaths. All right, let's straighten that left leg out in front of you. Bringing that right foot to the earth, bending that left foot, and we're just going to windshield wiper our feet, or our knees, open and closed. I should say to the right and to the left. So just windshield wiper back and forth. That should feel good on your hips. I even felt a little, I don't know if anybody else felt that in your back too, that release. All right, nice job. Straighten that right leg this time, and our left knee is already bent. Bringing that left ankle on top of the right, let's call it the right thigh, not the right knee, so we don't hurt that knee of ours. And then, once again, bringing your hands to the back of your mat, and then bending that right knee. Again, you can stay right here if this is good for you. And you might not even want to bend it that much. It might, like I said, those hips are tight a lot of times. A lot of people are tight. So if this is good, otherwise, if you want to scoot your butt towards your foot, you could do that to get yourself a little bit deeper into those hips. Yoga is a great release for all of those feelings that we hold and those emotions that are held deep into our tissues. Just opens up a lot. And to be honest, if you are in another yoga class, I mean, you might be doing it right now, maybe not, but sometimes even in pigeon, and when you're in half pigeon or full pigeon, or it can bring up a lot. Like I said, it can bring up emotions, and there's a lot of people that cry during this pose. So very, very cathartic. So I just say let it happen. Anything that happens in yoga, it's a good release. Let it just flow out. All right, let's straighten that right knee back down. Opening up, letting that left foot fall to the earth, right foot to the earth, and again, just shimmy those. I'm saying shimmy hips, but it's really a windshield wiper of our knees and our legs back and forth. All right, nice job. We are almost done. We are just going to end with a supine twist. So come back down. Actually, before we do that, let's just fold over our front. Let's just do a forward fold. So legs straight, reaching our arms up over your head, and then folding forward. Think about your chest coming down to the earth. Instead of you're rounding your spine, thinking about extending out your spine, letting your chest fall down to your legs. You can grab your feet. You're welcome to do that. Grab your ankles, anywhere on your legs, and just kind of let your head just drop. I should say head, trying to let your chest fall towards your legs. And just relax into that pose. Again, breathing here. And then slowly come up. And one vertebrae at a time, fall back down onto the mat. This time we're going to bring both of our knees in towards our chest, and then let those knees fall over to the right side of our body, or the right side of our mat, opening up that left shoulder. Try to keep that left shoulder on the mat and looking towards those left fingertips. Again, it gets it's called a supine twist, so really twisting into those inner organs, as we said. Sounds funny to say, but really twisting into that body. Again, this really helps with digestion. Just breathing here. We're almost done. All right, bringing those knees back towards the center. You might be able to help them up with your right hand. Bring them back towards the center, giving them a little hug, a little squeeze, and then letting them fall over to the left side. of your mat, of your body, opening up that right shoulder, that right arm on the ground. Trying to keep that right shoulder on the ground if you can. And then letting your gaze go towards your right fingertips. Again, you can even close your eyes here. It's a very relaxing time. So we're almost there. We're almost done. All right, bringing those knees up towards your chest. Again, one more little quick hug in, releasing that back out, and then letting everything fall down to the earth. We're going to come into our most healing, most restful, most important pose of the practice. This is Shavasana. So really letting go of the practice, letting go of your thoughts, letting go of your body, softening into the earth. Almost think of yourself as an ice cube, just like melting down into the earth. Just letting everything go. As you're doing that,